horrible.
Okay, first of all, we want to apologize for the lighting.
And the sound's probably not that great either, but we are so glad that you're joining us. We have a mountain of details that have just filled the pages of our days here in Israel. And last night, late, we checked into our Airbnb in Jerusalem, having come from Tel Aviv, where we spent just a little bit over a full week with amazing friends, amazing people who are doing absolutely incredible work of humanitarian aid. And where should we start? I mean,
Well, first of all, I think the last time that we actually went live was when we were in Tel Aviv. And a couple reasons why we haven't gone live since was because, first of all, our internet was not good at the Tel Aviv Airbnb that we're staying at. It was very loud. There was just a lot of things going on over there. And we were also spending a lot of time meeting with the ministries there. And we just were overwhelmed with the amount of time that we didn't have. We can't go live on our phones on YouTube. We can only upload YouTube videos from our phone, and we can go live on our computer. So there's been a lot of logistics. We also want to say that we do have a lot of videos that are coming. We have a lot of footage from interviews that we've been doing all week with these ministries, and we will be highlighting those. We do have some editing to do when we get back home, which we'll have our great Spencer that takes care of all that, do that when we get back. But for now, we really wanted to kind of just give you guys an update and a recap of what we can actually articulate right
but there's
now.
so much
so
that
hard.
Unfortunately, we just can't share with you live on YouTube. It's just, shall I say, not kosher. It just, there's a lot of sensitivities. And so one-on-one with friends and things like that, we'll be able to share a lot more detail. But for now, we just want to do a general recap or update on some of the amazing things that we've been able to see.
Well, I would say let's start back on Monday, because I think Sunday night was our last live that we did when we were in Tel Aviv, and that was after we had met with our friends Matt and Tabea with the ministry Kite Pride. And so Monday we met with
Jordan and Hillary came over into our neck of the woods. Actually, it was more like the boy, how should I say it? The white sands of the Mediterranean. We weren't far from the Mediterranean coast there, but they made a fairly decent drive to come over to be in our area, and we ended up spending the day with them. And it was absolutely amazing to learn more about Beautiful Land Initiative and how this vision came through seeing so much trash, so much garbage just piling up on some of the high places in Israel. And Jordan really had a burden and a calling, and the commission to start cleaning up this beautiful land. And they bring volunteers from all over the world, really, to be the hands and feet cleaning up the area. And it really, the sense that I got was that as they're doing this, they're really washing the feet of the Lord by the service that they're providing and helping people get connected with the land and that kind of thing.
And we did an interview with them, so we will be probably uploading that in the next couple weeks when we get back to the States. And anything else you want to say about that?
Then Tuesday was epic again. We met with Ukrainian refugees. In fact, we visited one of 40 families that we've been able to help because of our generous partners, not of course because um, we had the ability ourselves. It's not about us, but because of generosity of others, we've been able to pass through 100% of the support to help 40 families that have come to Israel with nowhere else to go, that lost their homes in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And we met with Marina and her father, who's 80.
I think he's like 83 or 84. I don't remember, but
And he's
Joseph or Yosef.
yes, he's unable to get around, and so he stayed in his chair where he is almost all of the time in his apartment. His daughter is working, and she gets out, and he's home alone a lot. And we got to visit with him with the assistance of a translator, and we really felt. Um, oh, how should I say this? Called or commissioned, moved to again through the generosity of another to provide a scooter
Yeah.
for Yosef so that he can get out and get down on the street
And have freedom.
that was a big joke with him. We just asked him what his greatest need was, and he said the freedom to be able to go out and tell others about God's love, because he spent his life as an atheist, not believing that there is a God, and only recently, because of the love of Miriam and others, he has seen um, circumstances change in ways that only God could do, sovereignly, miraculously, and it has stirred his soul so much that he just wants to get out and tell others about the love of God.
He was actually preaching to us because he didn't realize that we were believers, and it was the sweetest thing. Oh man, he couldn't kiss my cheek enough. But I I think David and I were so incredibly moved by how grateful he and his daughter Marina were. They were so I can't even describe that experience, other than I did upload on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, I uploaded a short video clip of the two of us, Marina and I, having a moment where I had walked. So we had gone through the house. Miriam had let us walk through the house with Marina, and Marina was showing us all of the things that we were able to help provide, furniture wise, and all of those things. And when we got done with that, we were walking into the living room, and I had to take a step outside on the balcony because I just felt completely overwhelmed by emotion, because here we were, looking at all of the things that from the United States we had, Blessing Broker had been able to provide for them. And it's not us, it's our partners who have been sewing into Blessing Broker to be able to do these things. And I literally started bawling, and Marina just hugs me, and she and I just realized that we had a bonding moment. Even though we couldn't understand each other, we understood each other, and it was just so moving, that I literally started bawling and she started crying too. And then we go in, and then we do an interview with Yosef, and Miriam's doing the translating, and then Yosef's crying. And man, you guys, just to be able to be in the presence of them, to see the gratefulness. And not only that, I think more importantly, the fact that they now realize that there is a God, because God saw fit to be personal with them, to provide these things coming from war, literally coming from the Ukrainian war to Israel, they're now making citizenship here in Israel because of this opportunity that they've had to flee this war-torn country. And
One of the
that's
things,
just one story out of
yeah.
40 families that has been able to be helped.
But what moved me the most was when Yosef just started welling up with tears, and
Yeah.
and he started sobbing, but with tears of joy.
Mhm.
That he said, "Now I know that God sees me,"
Mhm.
and the sincerity and the depth of emotion
Yeah.
that this man had was it's just
There's no words to describe that.
there really isn't. So yeah, then
And we find ourselves every day in this place, you guys, where we just feel speechless,
Yeah.
literally speechless, because um, there are just no words to really articulate all of what we're experiencing.
yeah. Um, I'm not even sure if it was the next day, but I'll say that
Everything's running together for us.
we met with a young man named Joshua, whose father years ago from his farm, he was a successful businessman, and then chose to go into farming of all
Mhm.
things. And his friends thought he was crazy, but he was just south of Nashville,
Mhm.
Tennessee, and had a calling on his heart um, to volunteer and support farmers here in the land of
Mhm.
Israel. So they started an organization of bringing volunteers to help plant trees as well as to harvest fruits, vegetables, and I think mostly grapes. Um, that's in the spring. Right now, they're planting trees. In fact,
Mhm.
when I met with him, they just finished planting 200 trees in one day, and that's a typical day
Wow.
for them.
Yeah.
And they're really a part of the fulfillment of prophecy when the Lord says that He will make this land blossom again. It is really a produce basket
Mhm.
to Europe and around the world. The
Yeah.
produce that's going out from Israel is extraordinary. And this organization is just doing amazing things in feeding so many through the trees that they're planting and the harvest that they're gleaning. And it's just amazing work that Joshua and his family are doing. And there'll be some more information posted on that later
Mhm.
as well. And
Yeah, and
then,
going back to that day before, which we completely, forgot to mention, that we also, besides meeting with Miriam and House to Home, which was, helping all the Ukrainian
yeah,
refugees, we also met with
Sergey
Sergey
and
and
Natasha.
Natasha, who have a church here, and I believe he's from Ukraine, right?
Yes.
Um, and he's also Jewish. Um, and they have a wonderful ministry that they're literally helping a lot of the refugees that are coming into the land here in Israel with what's called Generous Basket. And it is a beautiful ministry that they've got donations coming in for clothing, food, all sorts of different things that they've got people coming in off the streets that need help, and they come in, they get to fill their basket with whatever they need. And
sounded like about 100 people a month
it's
will come and get their needs met with clothing, and they also distribute some food boxes as well.
Yeah, and so we did an interview with them, and also did an interview with Miriam that we again will be getting to you guys as soon as we can. So thanks for being patient on that. But we
let's talk about
so what about Red Carpet Center? That was the next day too.
Annette was just she's so fun. She is so.
I got sick that morning, you guys. So I'm really disappointed that I wasn't able to be there for these interviews. But I'm really glad that, David didn't get sick like I did. So he was able to still go on that day of interviews.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Red Carpet Center. That is a nail salon in a red light district that's doing amazing things of just showing the love of our Lord. But this really started several years ago. In fact, 25 years ago, Annette started counseling women in pregnancy crises, and so her ministry is called Abundant Life, and they're doing amazing work of encouraging women to choose life and giving them resources needed to save lives and to get plugged into ways of growing spiritually and physically and socially, and there'll be more to come on that as well. But just wonderful ministry that they're running at Abundant Life. And then how about blessing the Holocaust survivors?
Oh, man.
we had
that was incredible.
We had lunch with about 25.
I think it's about 25 Holocaust survivors. All Russian speaking.
They meet in what's called a warm house, and they share a meal together on a regular basis, and they were just the most incredible people. I was reflecting at the end of the meeting about the main takeaway, and it's really hard to describe, but when you look into somebody's eyes and you see a complex mix of hurt and heartache and brokenness mixed together with hope and joy and longing to love and to be loved. It's really a complex thing, and it was just so moving to be so warmly received and embraced, and to, through translators, be able to communicate about life, about joys, about interests, and what they're learning. And I think the most encouraging thing for both of us was to hear what they're learning. And one thing that they have expressed in, I'll put it in our words, that they're not dead and God's not done with them. And they're learning so much from our friends that are really investing in their life long term. I mean, this is years of relation building, and there's so much investment that our friends have sacrificed and put in with the love of our Lord in to these communities. So it was just really incredible to spend an afternoon with these folks. And
I was just looking up a picture because I wanted to remember the name of this book that our friend Stuart and Chantel just got done and hot off the press, literally. And this one they gave us and they signed, and it's about how, I don't remember how many stories of Holocaust survivors, but it's called Behind the Curtain, The Candles Burn, Recovering the Lost Stories of the Holocaust Survivors of Belarus. And it says, you, Lord, keep my lamp burning. My God turns my darkness into light. Psalm 18:28. And this couple have a heart and have a ministry to Holocaust survivors specifically. And they are truly the hands and feet of Jesus, and they are just building into these precious souls the love of the Lord. It's just such a beautiful thing to watch. And this book, we're very excited to read because they're sharing stories, specific stories of these Holocaust survivors, and most of them, I think all but one, they said have come to know Jesus as their Messiah. And so it's going to be fun to read that book. But anything else about? Oh, well, I had the honor of singing. It's not that great of a quality of video, but nonetheless, I had the honor of singing the Aaronic blessing over these beautiful people, and I have to say that's probably been my highlight so far on this trip. So anyone that knows me and knows my heart for worship, just to be able to sing a blessing over these Holocaust survivors. And there was just something to be said about how they received it. I mean, I was just so humbled and honored. So yeah. What else?
Well, today we met with a former colleague of mine who just happens to be living a half mile from where we chose to stay. We had no idea.
Yeah.
And she saw that we were going to be here. So we went and had a lunch with her. And then there's a coffee shop next door. And this family or
It's like Starbucks there in the States. It's called Aroma.
yeah, and three individuals were grabbing a table next to us, and a gentleman walked by me to put in an order, and I saw his hat. Go Hawks! He was wearing a Seattle Seahawks hat. And
we probably had a bunch of people just tune it off because they don't like the Hawks.
well, they're 6-3, so they're doing something right without Russell Wilson.
Well, anyway.
So
shiny object, but God turned that shiny object into an amazing divine appointment.
And I really wish that I could tell you who he is and what he does. But all I can say is I can't.
Yeah.
And
but they need your prayers.
If you're seeing this and you're curious, grab me later. I've got a story for you. But for now, that's it. We're going to sign off, and we thank you for taking the time to watch this. Stay tuned. There is so much more to come.
Yeah.
And we do want to say, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. As he lifts his countenance upon you, may he give you his peace.
Yes. And one last thing, we just want to tell each and every one of you that have been praying for our trip and just for divine appointments. He's definitely hearing your prayers and answering them. Baby. And, one more thing, actually, I think we forgot to add was our friend Lee Taylor today took us to this amazing rooftop of this ministry that this lady runs right there in Jerusalem. And we took some photos up on the rooftop, but we got to pray there over the city. And when it says in the Bible, the great book, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. It was so fun to actually pray for the peace of Jerusalem right there in Jerusalem. And that was just, that was another highlight for me today. But anyway, the lady that runs the ministry, her husband passed away from COVID about a year ago. He was about a year,
No,
or
he.
I think it was
I'm
about a
sorry
year
to
ago.
correct you, babe, but he
Okay.
passed away 4 years ago. He
Oh,
he passed away in 2018.
I thought he passed away from COVID. I'm
No,
sorry. Okay.
two of the other ladies that we were
Oh, that's right.
introduced to
That's
through
right.
her
Yeah.
lost their husbands,
From
both of
COVID.
them from
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, but Garrett Nell passed away 4 years ago, and his surviving wife. Oh, her name's Marty or Martha, and Martha is from South Africa, and she is an absolutely beautiful soul who has opened up a donation-based hostel for those who are coming to connect with the land. So. Just absolutely beautiful lady, and we thank LT Lee Taylor for introducing us to Marty, and it was a beautiful evening. So we had a wonderful time, and wish you were here.
Yeah, but we're trying to capture at least a little glimpse of